You know the drill by now. Here we go. We are racing! Alonso gets off to a great start, as does Fisichella. Here come the drivers into turn one. Montoya leads out of the first corner, and behind him is Fisichella. Next is Alonso. Looks like this. Montoya is first, Fisichella is second, Alonso third, fourth Michael Schumacher, Felipe Massa is fifth, Raikkonen sixth, seventh is Button, he's moved up from eighth, Nico Rosberg eighth. He's still in the top eight, but he'll be kicking himself for not taking advantage of pole position. Look at Michael Schumacher. He's giving it all he's got. His last was a 1:10.46. That's significantly faster than Alonso. He's currently putting in lap times at the low end of 1:11. Lap 4 of this Grand Prix. Montoya is first. Fisichella is second. Michael Schumacher third. He's up from fourth. Fourth is Alonso. He's slipped from third. Kimi Raikkonen fifth. Massa sixth. Seventh is Button. And Nico Rosberg eighth. Fisichella puts in his fastest lap of the race. His last was a 1:10.6. Schumacher can't keep up as he pulls away. He's lapping around the high 1:10 mark. The gap's now 1.5 seconds. Look at Michael Schumacher, he's giving it all he's got. His last was a 1:10.5. He's catching up with Fisichella. He's lapping around the high 1:10 mark. The gap is now 1.2 seconds. We're on lap 6. Fisichella leads. He's up from second. Montoya is second. He was in the lead earlier. Michael Schumacher third. Fourth is Alonso. Kimi Raikkonen fifth. Massa 6th, 7th is Button, and Nico Rosberg 8th. Fisichella is driving at full pelt here. His last was a 1:10 on the dot. That shows more pace than Montoya. His lap times are around the mid-1:11 mark. Fisichella is really turning up the heat here. His last was a 1:10 on the dot. That shows more pace than Montoya. At present, the gap between them is 2 seconds. Let's take a look at the current top 8 positions. Fisichella leads. Montoya is second. Michael Schumacher third. Fourth is Alonso. Kimi Raikkonen fifth. Massa 6th. 7th is Button. And Nico Rosberg 8th. Fisichella is really turning up the heat here. His last was a 1:10.16. He's pulling away from Montoya. The gap is now up to 2.5 seconds. Schumacher. He's giving it all he's got. His last lap posted was a 109.96. That shows more pace than Montoya. His lap times are around the mid-111 mark. Lap 10. Fisichella leads. Michael Schumacher is in second. He's up from third. Third is Juan Pablo Montoya. He slid down from second. Fourth is Alonso. Kimi Raikkonen fifth. Massa sixth. Seventh is Button. And Barrichello is in eighth. Fisichella is driving at full pelting. His last lap posted was a 109.94. Schumacher can't keep up as he pulls away. He's currently lapping in the low 110 range. The gap is now 2.7 seconds. Let's see who the top 8 drivers are. Fisichella leads. Michael Schumacher is in second. Third is Juan Pablo Montoya. Fourth is Alonso. Kimi Raikkonen fifth. Massa sixth. Seventh is Button, and Barrichello is in eighth. Fisichella is really turning up the heat here. His last lap posted was a 109.88. His lead over Michael Schumacher is getting bigger all the time. The gap is out to 2.8 seconds. There's a decent scrap going on for P11. Klein must be running low on fuel by now. Trulli has an opportunity here.
We're pretty sure that he's got more fuel left than Klein. All he needs to do is stay close to him until he pits. He should be a little quicker without so much fuel in his tank. If he can keep going for a few more laps, he should get past, as long as he can keep it going, that is.
Let's take a quick look at the current leaders. Fisichella leads. Michael Schumacher is in second. Third is Juan Pablo Montoya. Fourth is Alonso. Kimi Raikkonen fifth.
That was a strong end to the lap from Klein. The gap is just over a second, 1.1 to be exact.
The Red Bull mechanics are out in the pit lane.
Trulli responds by going faster through the previous sector. The gap is down to 1 second. Trulli continues to close the gap. He's slowly closing in. The margin has shrunk by another 10.
Christian Klein drives up to his pit box. Klein speeds away from his garage. The mechanics are out in the Toyota pits. Let's take a look at the current top 8 positions. Fisichella leads. Trulli drives into the pits. Trulli completes his stop.
Trulli is through. He makes his way past Klein.
There's been some sort of incident at turn 13. It's Liuzzi! Looks like there's some damage to his rear wing. He'll have to pit and see if his team can replace it. It's far too risky to stay out there with any kind of damage to the rear wing. Nothing serious enough to warrant his retirement, but still, a setback for him. Michael Schumacher was the other driver involved in that tussle. Looks like his front wing has taken some damage. Montoya is going well, and that last lap was his quickest so far. His last was a 1:10.26. That shows more pace than Schumacher. His overall laps are coming in around the high end of 1:11. Here's the current top 8. Fisichella leads. Michael Schumacher is in second. Third is Juan Pablo Montoya. Fourth is Alonso. Kimi Raikkonen fifth. Massa sixth. Seventh is Button. And Barrichello is in eighth. Coulthard is going hell for leather here. That last lap time was a 1:11.14. And now he's beginning to catch up to Webber. His lap times are around the mid-1:11 mark. The gap is now 6.8 seconds. There's a decent scrap going on for P11. Coulthard is due in for his stop in the next few laps. Ralf Schumacher has a shot at overtaking him in the pits.
I suspect he'll be first into the pits. They may decide to short-fill him to keep him light. Ralf Schumacher flies through sector 3. He's reduced the gap by another tenth of a second.
The mechanics are out in the Toyota pits.
Coulthard has actually increased his lead through the previous sector. He's extended the gap by another tenth of a second. That's another great sector by Coulthard. The gap is now 2.3 seconds.
Let's see who the top 8 drivers are. Fisichella leads. Here comes Ralf Schumacher into the pits. Ralf Schumacher exits the pit lane. The Red Bull mechanics are out in the pit lane. Coulthard enters the pits.
Ralf Schumacher will really need to get a move on if he wants to go through. Coulthard has more than enough time in his pocket.
Coulthard makes his exit from the pits.
He's in front of him. Coulthard still has track position. He did well to keep Schumacher behind him.
Here's the current top 8. Fisichella leads. Michael Schumacher is in second. Third is Juan Pablo Montoya. Fourth is Alonso. Kimi Raikkonen fifth. Jenson Button in sixth. Barrichello is seventh. He's moved up from eighth. And Massa is eighth. He's down from seventh. Fisichella is driving at full pelt here. His last lap posted was a 109.72. Schumacher can't keep up as he pulls away. He's currently lapping in the low 110 range. The gap is now 4.8 seconds. Fisichella is really turning up the heat here. His last lap posted was a 109.76. His lead over Michael Schumacher is getting bigger all the time. The gap is now over 5 seconds. Alonso is on a charge now. His last lap posted was a 109.72. He's starting to get some space between himself and Montoya. He's currently lapping in the low 110 range. The gap is now 2.7 seconds. are as follows. Alonso leads. That's a gain of 1 place. Montoya is second. Button is third. Massa fourth. He's up from 5th. Fisichella 5th. 6th is Rosberg. Michael Schumacher is 7th. And Raikkonen is 8th. It's Schumacher! It's left his front wing with a bit of damage, but the rest of the car looks okay. He'll have to pit and get that nose changed though. He's very lucky that little incident hasn't ended his race today. Ide got himself involved in that mishap as well. Looks like his front wing has taken some damage. Alonso continues to pile the pressure on. His last lap posted was a 109.72. He's pulling away from Montoya. The gap has now stretched out to 4.5 seconds. Alonso continues to pile the pressure on. His last lap posted was a 109.68. He's pulling away from Montoya. The gap is out to 4.9 seconds. Let's take a quick look at the current leaders. Alonso leads. Montoya is second. Button is third. Massa fourth. Fisichella fifth. Sixth is Rosberg. Michael Schumacher is seventh. And Raikkonen is eighth. Montoya is going well, and that last lap was his quickest so far. His last was a 1:10 flat. He continues to close the gap to Alonso. His lap times are around the mid-110s. The gap is now below 18 seconds. It's lap 26 of this Grand Prix. Alonso leads. Montoya is second. Button is third. Massa fourth. Fisichella fifth. Sixth is Rosberg. Michael Schumacher is seventh. And Raikkonen is eighth. The battle for the final podium spot is reaching a critical point. Button must be due to stop soon. There is a light at the end of the tunnel here for Massa.
I suspect he'll be in first though, so he'll need a very good in and out lap and something special from his mechanics. It's always possible they may opt to short fill him. Massa is fastest through the final sector. He decreases the margin by 0.3 of a second.
The top 8 currently looks like this. Montoya is first. That's a gain of 1 place. Button is second. Massa is third. Fourth is Fisichella. He's up from 5th. It looks as if the Honda mechanics are preparing for a stop. We can see plenty of activity down in the Ferrari garage now.
Massa is performing magnificently here. Once more, he's quicker than his opponent. The gap has now shrunk to just 1.6 seconds.
It's Sato! He sustained quite a bit of damage to his rear wing there. He may be able to get it back to the pits and replace it, but it's going to cost him a lot of time. That incident hasn't ended his race, but he'll have to work hard if he wants some points. Button is also involved. It's left his front wing with a bit of damage, but the rest of the car looks okay. He'll have to pit and get that nose changed, though.
Button must have got a message through from his team to push. He's extended the gap by another tenth of a second.
Jenson Button takes to the pit lane. Massa is in the pits. Jenson Button leaves the pits.
He's ahead. Button is back out in front. Massa just couldn't quite do enough to get by.
That's Schumacher. He's really going for it there. That last lap time was a 1:11.34. That's a better time than Webber. He's lapping in the low 1:14s. We're now on lap 29. Fisichella leads. Alonso is second. That's a gain of 2 places. Third is Juan Pablo Montoya. Fourth, Michael Schumacher. Button is fifth. He's moved up from sixth. Sixth is Rosberg. He slid down from second. In seventh is Raikkonen. And Massa is eighth. It's Massa! Looks like there's some damage to his rear wing. He'll have to pit and see if his team can replace it. It's far too risky to stay out there with any kind of damage to the rear wing. A bit of a scrape there, but at least he won't need to retire. I think Liuzzi was the other driver involved. That incident doesn't seem to have done him too much harm. Fisichella is driving at full pelt here. His last is a 1:10.56. That's significantly faster than Alonso. He's lapping in the low 12s. Let's take a quick look at the current leaders. Fisichella leads. Alonso is second. Third is Juan Pablo Montoya. Fourth, Michael Schumacher. Button is fifth. Raikkonen sixth. Rosberg seventh. and Massa is 8th. Is driving at full pelt here. That last lap time was a 1:11.54. That's significantly faster than Alonso. His lap times have been coming in around the high 1:15s. The top 8 are as follows. Fisichella leads. Montoya is 2nd. That's a gain of 1 place. Alonso 3rd. 4th, Michael Schumacher. Kimi Raikkonen 5th. He's moved up from 6th. Jenson Button in 6th. He's down from 5th. Massa is 7th. Nico Rosberg 8th. Fisichella is really turning up the heat here. His last was a 1:10.42. That's significantly faster than Alonso. The gap is now 9/10ths of a second. Take a look at the current top 8 positions. Fisichella leads. Montoya is 2nd. Alonso 3rd. 4th, Michael Schumacher. Kimi Raikkonen 5th. Jenson Button is 6th. Massa is 7th. And Nico Rosberg 8th. top 8 are as follows. Fisichella leads. Alonso is second. Michael Schumacher third. He's up from fourth. Montoya fourth. He's slipped from third. Kimi Raikkonen fifth. Jenson Button in sixth. Massa is seventh. And Nico Rosberg eighth. Fisichella is really turning up the heat here. His last was a 1:10.12. He's extending his lead over Button with every second that passes. The gap has increased to 1.5 seconds. The top 8 currently looks like this. Fisichella leads. Alonso is second. Michael Schumacher third. Montoya fourth. Kimi Raikkonen fifth. Jenson Button is sixth. Massa is seventh. Nico Rosberg eighth. Fisichella is really turning up the heat here. His last was a 1:10.3. He's extending his lead over Button with every second that passes. The gap has now increased to 1.7 seconds. Turning up the heat here. His last was a 1:10.26. He's extending his lead over Button with every second that passes. The gap is now out to 1.6 seconds. We're now 3/4 of the way into this race. Fisichella leads. Alonso is second. Michael Schumacher third. Montoya fourth. Kimi Raikkonen fifth. Jenson Button in sixth. Massa is seventh. And Nico Rosberg eighth. As we head into the closing stages of this Grand Prix, Fisichella leads. Alonso is second. Michael Schumacher third. Montoya fourth. Kimi Raikkonen fifth. Jenson Button in sixth. Massa is seventh. Nico Rosberg eighth. That's a good time for Michael Schumacher, his fastest tour of the circuit so far. His last lap posted was a 1:09.88. That's significantly faster than Alonso. He's currently putting in lap times at the low end of 1:11. Top 8 are as follows. Fisichella leads. Alonso is second. Michael Schumacher third. Montoya fourth. Kimi Raikkonen fifth. Jenson Button in sixth. Massa is seventh. Nico Rosberg eighth. Fisichella is really turning up the heat here. His last lap posted was a 1:09.9. He started to pull away from Alonso. The gap is now stretched to 18 seconds. Here's the current top 8. Fisichella leads. Alonso is second. Michael Schumacher third. Montoya fourth. Kimi Raikkonen fifth. Jenson Button in sixth. Massa is seventh. Nico Rosberg eighth. Fisichella is really turning up the heat here. His last lap posted was a 1:09.86. His lead over Michael Schumacher is getting bigger all the time. The gap is now out to 2.2 seconds. Let's take a quick look at the current leaders. Fisichella leads. Alonso is second. Michael Schumacher third. Montoya fourth. Kimi Raikkonen fifth. Jenson Button in sixth. Massa is seventh. And Nico Rosberg eighth. Button is stopping for no one right now. His last was a 1:10.18. He's closing the gap between himself and Raikkonen. His lap times are around the mid-110s. The gap has decreased to 1.7 seconds. With just 5 laps to go, Fisichella leads. Alonso is second. Michael Schumacher third. Montoya fourth. Kimi Raikkonen fifth. Jenson Button in sixth. Massa is seventh. And Nico Rosberg eighth. Alonso is on a charge now. His last lap posted was a 1:09.6. Schumacher can't keep up as he pulls away. He's currently lapping in the low 1:10 range. At present, the gap between them is 2 seconds. Alonso continues to pile the pressure on. His last lap posted was a 1:09.76. His lead over Michael Schumacher is getting bigger all the time. The gap is out to 2.1 seconds now.
Michael Schumacher is pushing himself a bit harder. The question is, at this late stage, does he have the skill to catch him? If things continue, Alonso may get caught. The gap is 2.2 seconds.
As we head into the final few laps, Fisichella leads. Alonso is second. Michael Schumacher third. Montoya fourth. Kimi Raikkonen fifth. Jenson Button in sixth. Massa is seventh. And Nico Rosberg eighth.
Alonso is fastest through the first sector. The gap is now 2.3 seconds. Alonso continues to pull away. He's extended the gap by another tenth of a second. Alonso completes a good final sector. He's extended the gap by another tenth of a second. Michael Schumacher knows he has to respond, and he's doing just that. The gap has now shrunk to just 1.6 seconds. Fisichella in first place has started his final lap. Alonso looks like he's starting to respond. 1 whole second. That's how much the gap has just increased. He's really flying now. With just 1 lap to go, it looks like Schumacher is still hungry for a place. Does he have enough time left to make his mark go? We'll soon see. We've seen an amazing display of driving from Fisichella this afternoon. Alonso continues to pull away. The gap is currently 5.6 seconds. It looks like Michael Schumacher has blown his chance. Alonso held his own out there though and showed that he really does have the fighting spirit. He won't be letting this one go. The team opted for a one-stop strategy today. He qualified in second for today's Grand Prix, so he must be thrilled that he's out in front on the final lap of the race. The condition and the performance of his car have been excellent today. He's done it. Fisichella powers across the line in first place. 10 points. Alonso should hang on to finish second. All is forgiven for the problems of 2005. Indianapolis has hosted a fantastic race here today. It's been a credit to everyone involved. The fans attending the circuit today have been treated to a great race and they look very happy, a far cry from the scenes of last year. But this is exactly what F1 racing in America needed. 2 weeks from now, we'll be back in familiar F1 territory at Manicourt in the heart of rural France. I hope you'll join us then. Goodbye for now.